Hey guys, what's going on? This is the conservative speaking, and I wanted to talk about another win for we the people. We the people, yay! Um, because the Senate created a major turn by 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 acting on two bills. The first bill was for the Senate to eliminate the filibuster, which they were unable to do because all but two Democratic senators opposed it. So therefore, it couldn't have gone on. Which, in case if you guys are not really familiar with politics, um, what the filibuster would have done is eliminate having 60 votes for a bill to pass, as opposed of having 51 votes in order for a bill to pass, which would have happened had the filibuster been eliminated. If they would have voted to eliminate the filibuster, then what would have happened was that that you would have to meet a minority vote in order to get the bill to pass. So rather than having 60 votes in order to get a bill to pass, through a deadlock Senate, they only would have had to had 51 votes. And in the event that you have one party all approving and no one from the other side not voting, then all it would have taken was for the vice president to cast the vote, and then the bill would have passed. And we all know that the vice president is Kamala Harris, another wicked witch from the West. And had that happened, then the bill would have been able to pass on to the president's desk, and President Biden would have been able to sign a bill into law which would have federalized the elections, the elections and the way that elections are being conducted, meaning that the federal government would have been responsible for conducting how elections are being ran in all 50 states. It would have taken the power from the states to determine how elections are ran, and it would have put the federal government in charge of running of conducting elections. And they would have been able to do everything possible in order to cheat and keep themselves in power. All right, and we will go down the line, and I'll be able to explain it. But this would have opened the door for mass voting fraud. Including voting 15 days ahead of time, which would have included massive mail-in voting fraud. It would have had specific people to watch over the votes, which would have conducted ballot harvesting. And so on and so on. And it could have had anyone voting, because one of the things that they wanted to do was to eliminate people having to provide proof of ID to vote. So that would have opened the door for anyone to vote. And I mean anyone. Think about it. We already have 1.3 million illegal aliens living in this country. You don't think those people will be able to vote? Of course they are. Underage people, it would have allowed for convicted felons to vote. I mean, it would have allowed for a massive amount of fraud just to keep a specific party in power. I mean, this would have definitely catered to gerrymandering for the Democrats, and that's what they wanted. But unfortunately, they couldn't get it because they couldn't abolish the filibuster. And thank God that we have at least two Democrats who still believe in not changing the rule of the filibuster, and also wanting to preserve the integrity of the vote, because every legal vote should matter. Every legal vote should matter. So let's go down and let's see why this is such a big deal. I mean, and why something like this, the For the People Act, which really is, it's just nothing but word salad. It's just another way to try to deceive the people and trick the people into believing that this vote, I mean that this act was really for the people, when really it's really for gerrymandering for the Democrats, to keep the Democrats in power so that the Democrats can continue to then oppose, I mean, and to continue to oppress the American people. This is what this is all about. It's really all about maintaining power. All right, and that's what the Democrats want to do. The Democrats are power hungry. They want to be able to to implement a new world order and implement laws that they feel they want to implement on the American people. They do not believe in people's rights. They believe in doing what they feel is right and not what's actually right, and not what's within the Constitution. They're not willing to act within the Constitution. They're willing to act out of it and ignore it. So this is the reason why this is the reason why the For the People Act could not pass. H.R. 1 would federalize and micromanage the election process administered by the states, imposing unnecessary, unwise, and unconstitutional mandates on the states and reversing the decentralization of the American election process. So basically what it does is that it just takes the power out of the states having to regulate elections and leaving it up to the federal government to make up any rules that they want at any time, so that the gerrymandering can best benefit them to keep them in power. All right? Talk about fascism. It will implement nationwide and the worst changes in election rules that occurred during the 2020 election, and go even further in eroding and eliminating basic security protocols that states have in place. The bill would interfere with the ability of states and their citizens to determine the qualifications and eligibility of voters. Just like I said in the beginning, it's going to undermine the integrity of voters by not being able to legally initiate any type of clarity of the person that's voting. You know what I mean? And that's what they want to do. Think about it, all right? This is strategic on the Democratic's place. All right? This is strategic on the Democratic's part. We already have 1.3 million illegal aliens that the Democrats allowed to come into this country. All right? You don't think the Democrats want to make them voters? You see, the best way that you can stay in power is to change the demographics. And that's what they wanted to, and that's what the Democrats want to do. They want to change the demographic by flooding out specific people that they know will not be able to stand for what they're doing, and replace them with people that the Democrats know will support them. Bring them in here illegally, give them free stuff, and by doing that, they'll be able to then buy their vote. All right? This is strategic on the Democratic's part, and this is the reason why they wanted to eliminate voter ID. because they want to make it to where anyone will be able to vote. All right, and if you're already changing the demographics of Americans and replacing them with anti-Americans, then those anti-Americans will then be able to support the very party that supports the anti-Americans, which are the Democrats. Come on, the Democrats, they may act as if they don't know what they're doing, but they know what they're doing. They want to stay in power. And it's not really about empowering the people. They're exploiting them. They're using them for their own benefits. This is about staying in power and getting people to comply to their command, because Democrats believe that they should be that they should be dictators as opposed of being elected officials and public servants. They believe in dictatorship, and that's what it's all about. All right, let's see. So the bill would interfere with the ability of states and their citizens to determine the qualification and eligibility of voters, to ensure the accuracy of voter registration rolls, to secure the fairness and integrity of elections, to participate and speak freely in the political process, and to determine the district boundary lines for electing their representatives. So you can have someone from Pennsylvania come in and vote in New Jersey, and then they can go in and then that same person can drive to Delaware and also vote as well. I mean, you can have one voter vote 3 times within the tri-state. This is what the Democrats want. All right, the Democrats want to undermine the integrity of the elections. They want to cheat. I mean, they're blatantly saying it. Look, it's right here. They're blatantly saying that they want to cheat. This is the reason why they wanted to pass this. This is not for the people. I mean, look at what the voting clause. I mean, look at what the Voting Act has. All right, they want to undermine your vote. So this is what H.R. 1 would have done. Seize the authority of states to regulate voter registration and voting process by forcing states to implement early voting, automatic voter registration, same-day registration, online voter registration, and no-fault absentee balloting. I mean, making it easier to commit fraud and promote chaos at the polls through same-day registration, as elected officials will have no time to verify the accuracy of voter registration information and the eligibility of the individual to vote, and could not anticipate the number of ballots and precinct workers that will be needed at specific polling locations. So it would have been a free-for-all. I mean, at this point, anyone could have shown up at any time at any polling place and just vote. I mean, illegal aliens, come on down. Convicted felons, come on down. Underage people, come on down. I mean, dead people, come on down. Anyone at any time could have voted, and this would have drastically undermined the integrity of the vote. I mean, if they're going to have this happen, what's the purpose of even voting in the first place? Because you know the same people are gonna get in time and time again. And considering that the Democrats control the House and they control the Senate and they control the presidency, they know that this was their only shot to stay in power forever. And had this bill passed, they would have stayed in power forever. But their plot failed, thank God. Hurt voter turnout through 15 days of mandated early voting by diffusing the intensity of get out the vote efforts. It would raise the cost of campaigns. Voters who vote early don't have the same information as those who vote on election day, missing late-breaking developments that could affect their choices. Yes, it's that simple. I mean, because you can vote for someone, and then you can find out that now you can find out days later that this person was involved in a turmoil. You know what I mean? That probably would have affected your decision to vote for that very person. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Thank you. My phone has been going off with all of these robocalls, and it's the same people from India. Healthcare benefits. This is Sean. This is John from Healthcare Benefits. How are you doing today? Amazing. We're calling to see if you can qualify for Medicare Part C and D. How old are you? How old do I sound? I don't know, sir, but I'm calling from Healthcare Benefits. Yeah, you're actually calling from India, but okay. Anyway, degrade the accuracy of registration lists by requiring states to automatically register all individuals as opposed to citizens. Keep in mind, all individuals, not citizens, all individuals. That includes illegal aliens. All right? From state and federal databases such as state departments of motor vehicles, corrections, and welfare offices, and federal agencies such as the Social Security Administration, Department of Labor, Federal Bureau of Prisons. Oh, yes. Get the prisoners out here. And the Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services of the Department of Health and Human Services. This will register a large number of ineligible voters. I mean, we're talking about prisoners. We're talking about illegal aliens. And just like it said, this will register a large number of ineligible voters, including aliens, and cause multiple or duplicate registrations of the same individual, and put federal agencies in charge of determining a person's domicile for voting purposes, as well as that individual's taxing state. Can constitute a recipe for mass voter registration fraud by hackers and cyber criminals through online voter registration that is not tied to an existing state record, such as driver's license. It will make it a criminal offense for a state official to reject a voter registration application, even when it is rejected under the color of law, because the official believes the individual is ineligible to vote. It will also require states to allow 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds to register, when combined with a ban on voter ID and registration on the ability to challenge the eligibility of a voter. This would effectively ensure that underage individuals could vote with impunity. So it's going to have all of these dumb 16 and 17-year-old people, a lot of them which are being pushed in this radical ideology to vote. It's going to have dumb people voting. A 16 and a 17-year-old have no business voting, all right? Especially in this educational system that we have. These people have been brainwashed to believe that America is an unjust country. They should definitely go against capitalism. They should go against capitalism because capitalism is destroying America and it's making people poor. And these are the same people that would say down with capitalism while drinking their Starbucks coffee and texting on their Android. Now I know for a fact they didn't make the Android. Where do you think they got the Android from? Oh, Android. Okay, and Android is a capitalist company. All right. If Android wasn't a part of capitalism, you wouldn't be having the phone that you're having. All right. These are the people that are going to be eligible to vote. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No way, Jose. That cannot happen. All right, we can't have dumb young people voting and determining our elections. Not dumb 17-year-old idiots. No, absolutely not. And then one last thing, requiring states to count ballots cast by voters outside of their assigned precincts. So pretty much, you can vote in one county within your city, and then you can drive elsewhere and vote, and then you can drive another area outside your county and vote, and then drive another area outside your county and vote. I mean, by the time you're done, if you really want to stick it to them, you can vote in 18 different counties if you wanted to in one day. All right. Look, the Democrats' plan is simple. All right. Cheat at any way that you can to stay in power. Do whatever you have to do to stay in power. And this is their way of doing it. All right. This is their way of doing it. Mandate no-fault absentee ballots, which are the tool of choice for vote thieves. It will ban witness signature or notarization requirements for absentee ballots. Force states to accept absentee ballots received up to 10 days after the election day, as long as they are postmarked by election day, and require states to allow vote trafficking or ballot harvesting, meaning that you have specific people who would then be in charge of taking in specific. Meaning that you will have specific people that will be in charge of bringing in ballots and counting specific ballots towards the election. So these people can practically just rip open the ballots and see the candidate that's being voted for, and based on the instructions that they're getting, they can practically not count any of the votes that are going to go to a specific candidate to a specific party. That's what ballot harvesting is all about. You have people that are in charge of these ballots, and then they determine which ballots count towards the elections. All right? Cheating at its best. All right? And then prevent election officials from checking the eligibility and qualification of voters and removing ineligible voters. This includes restriction on using the U.S. Postal Service National Change of Address System to verify the address of registered voters, participating in state programs that compare voter registration lists to detect individuals registered in multiple states, or even removing registrants due to a failure to vote no matter how much time has elapsed. It will also substantially limit the public release of voter registration information, making it almost impossible for nonpartisan organizations to verify the accuracy of registration rolls, and prohibit states from using undeliverable election mail as a basis for challenging a registrant's eligibility. So, I mean, they have other things too, but so basically, all this really does is that it allows non-verification of the people that are voting, and will pretty much open the door for anyone to vote at any time. So keep in mind, this will allow a lot more ineligible votes to count towards the election than eligible votes, because you're going to have people who normally under the law would not be eligible to vote they will be able to vote. That's why they call it For the People Act, okay? Because they're trying to paint the picture, or they're trying to sell the story that this bill will allow for all people to vote. You see, but what they're leaving out is that it's going to allow all people to vote, including ineligible people, which under the law, they will be ineligible to vote. That includes illegal aliens. That includes underage citizens. That also includes convicted felons. Those people will also be eligible to vote as well. So that would have critically undermined the integrity of the vote, like I said before. And it's a good thing that this didn't pass, because at this point, if this would have passed, you can pretty much kiss the integrity of your vote goodbye. Although you have the right to vote, it doesn't make any sense to vote, because this will be equivalent to voting in a third world country, where everything practically where everything practically really swings towards gerrymandering towards one particular party. This party is able to alter the electoral rules to best fit, to best benefit them and keep them in power. And we can't have that. I mean, look at the things that the Democrats are trying to push. And I can't even call them Democrats. A lot of them are progressives. Look at the policies that they're trying to push. The Green New Deal, which was already signed into law. The expansion of welfare. They want to take away your rights. They want to take away your guns. They want to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to be secure in your papers. But at least this gives hope, because we know now that there's going to be a mass red wave. The Democrats gave it their best shot. Now they realize that come midterms, there's going to be a massive red wave. We're going to get rid of these Democrats, bring in the Republicans to take over the House and the Senate, and then this would lead the path for the great white hope, Donald Trump, to run in 2024 and to take over the presidency and win and take over the presidency. So that's what we're hoping. But let me know what you guys think. I know I kind of went over. I mean, this is 27 minutes. Leave a comment in the comment section after you subscribe to my channel. Click the like button if you like the video. Share the video and subscribe to my channel, as I'm going to be able to provide you content on the double. Also, I am dedicating the entire month of February towards Black History Month. You're going to get an insight of Black History Month like you've never seen before. So stay tuned. I'm dedicating the entire month of February on my YouTube channel to Black History Month. You don't want to miss it. And with that being said, this is The Conservative signing out. Have a blessed day, guys.